Welcome to Bungalows for Bachelors. Today we are going to finish the inside of the house. It's about time. Let's get into it. We're going to talk about flooring and appliances today. All right, so what is flooring? Well, it's the finished surface material that you're going to put on your existing floor. And the existing floor is either pretty much going to be concrete or it's going to be a subfloor material like OSB or plywood or something like that. And we don't want to look at that inside the house, so we're going to put a nice finish on it. And that finish is going to be more stain resistant, more durable. It's going to look better. It's going to be a whole lot of things. So that's why we put flooring in. And of course, what are the appliances? Well, in general, I put this in here after flooring because we want all of our flooring down before we start, putting all the stuff on top of where the flooring would need to be, right? So we're going to throw our refrigerators in here, our ranges, dishwashers, washing machines, dryers, microwaves, countertop appliances. Those don't matter as much, right? Because those are going on the countertop. But just so you have it in mind, these things would go into the house around this point in time. So what are the types of flooring? Well, what you see in the photo there is likely some kind of wood material or wood imitation, of which there are many types. So to get into it, there's going to be tile, and there's multiple types of tile, just like there are multiple types of countertop sort of stone material, right? So you can do tile out of multiple types, or you can go with laminate, vinyl, carpet, hardwood, or engineered wood. And I'm leaving out of this like commercial types of flooring or ridiculously like flooring you wouldn't normally see in a house, right? Just crazy stuff like grass or stuff like that, right? So let's just get right into it. Tile. So you can do ceramic tile, which is most common, natural stone tile, marble tile, or porcelain tile. Now you might see a marble or porcelain tile in a shower wall or in a shower or a bathroom maybe. It's going to be quite a bit more expensive, which is why it's going to be not as frequent. But if you have a very nice house, you might see that tile in some main floor areas. It looks very nice, and it's got some good properties to it. So, it could be done. But most commonly, ceramic tile is the choice for interior flooring, just because it's fairly easy to move around as a material. It's easy to kind of fix and replace. People are used to seeing those grout lines and things like that. So, ceramic is normally what's done. Now, what's nice about tile is that it's a super hard surface. And, if you've got pets, if you've got like dogs running around everywhere, they're not going to scratch up your tiles because they're super hard. Now, the counter to being very hard is normally that it means you're also brittle. So if you drop things on these tiles that are hard and heavy, it's very possible if you hit a spot with bad bedding, bad mortar below your tile, then you might crack the tile, and that sucks. But because you're basically never going to be able to match those grout lines again. It's going to be hard to do if you replace that tile. It also can, because this flooring is so brittle, it can crack with foundation movement, which is a pretty normal thing unless you're building your house on rock. Foundation movement is a thing that happens. Foundations flex, and these brittle materials don't flex. They just crack. So unless you've taken extra care to separate your bond from your tile surface down to your concrete foundation, then you're going to have a hard time. And if you're putting this kind of material on a wood floor, you better have a real sturdy wood floor, because you do not want the wood floor to flex under any weight and crack tiles. It's also a pretty heavy material. So if you're doing ceramic tile or crazy tiles in a certain place, that's going to up the expense of your structure. But otherwise, tiles are relatively expensive in terms of flooring, just because they're heavy to move around and they're very time consuming to lay all these tiles, and the process is a little more complicated. Well, a less complicated process is laminate tile. Now, laminate is a lot like engineered wood, which is like what we're going to talk about a little bit later, but it's less expensive. It is usually a particle board base with a laminate coating on top. And the wood grain can either be from a real piece of wood that's been put on top of that particle board, or it can be like a print. So it's literally just like a picture that they put this laminate cover over that makes it look like wood. It's going to have that appearance of wood, but it's not going to actually look or feel like a wood floor when you actually get it in. It is less expensive than the engineered wood, and especially a hardwood, but that's one type, is that laminate floor. Now, a drawback is that laminate material is kind of hard. So if you are kind of installing it improperly, or you have something go wrong or drop something heavy on it, you can also chip that. And because it's not real wood, you can't refinish it because you've got a laminate layer on top. So a benefit of this, though, is that it is easy to install for those do-it-yourselfers. Now, vinyl planks, vinyl flooring. Now, it used to just mean one thing. It used to just mean sheet vinyl. And it had a negative connotation to it because that sheet vinyl is basically huge rolls of plastic that you kind of glued down and cut into a shape of your room, and you were kind of good to go. And it was cheap and quick solution, and usually looked kind of cheap. And yeah, so not a great choice, but super inexpensive in terms of the square footage. So if you're after a cheap, ugly solution and you don't care, then go for it. But there are certain types of sheet vinyl that have been improved since they started coming out with it. So it's not the end of the world. But most of the time, when people are buying vinyl floors now, they're buying luxury vinyl planks and occasionally luxury vinyl tiles. So the difference, I believe, is that the planks are designed to kind of snap together in their special interlocking pattern, and the tiles are exactly that. They're just the tiles. So they're installed a little bit differently. So now the super awesome benefit of this vinyl material is that it's pretty good price. It is pretty affordable in terms of compared to wood or ceramic tile, but water won't do a thing to this material, which is super awesome. You can put it anywhere and everywhere in your house, and it's pretty darn durable. It's pretty tough. So it's a pretty good all-around solution. It's also easy to install because it doesn't require any crazy tools or anything. It's just vinyl, so you can cut it with pretty much anything. And yeah, it just kind of snaps together if you buy that type. Now, carpet. Carpet is, of course, a totally different texture than all of the other flooring types, which are like hard floors. Carpet is soft, fluffy. It's got that totally different texture. It's got foam padding below it to give a little more give, right? It's very comfortable on the feet. Now, drawbacks of carpet, of course, are with all that fluff comes all the little tiny places for dirt to build up, and pets can stain carpets. Renters can stain carpets, you name it. So, it's a frequent thing to have your carpets cleaned or replaced if you're doing that kind of thing. But another big benefit of the carpet is that the sound is absorbed into the carpet. So it's a good place if you kind of want a more sound privacy. You want to put some more carpet down the hallways and bedrooms, things like that. It's going to absorb a lot more sound. If you want to go crazy, you know what? You could just put carpet on the walls and ceiling too if you're in for sound absorption. But most people aren't going to do that. But it's usually a go-to in bedrooms because you want to get out of bed and step onto something soft. And if it's not if it's not chosen in a bedroom, normally like a rug or something goes down anyway, because people don't want their feet to hit the cold floor usually. Now, hardwood. Hardwood is just that. It is a wood floor. It's usually kind of like 3/4 thick, something like that. They're designed to kind of interlock together. And you can customize hardwood floors kind of however you like because they're wood. So you can cut them into any shape, install them however you like. And you can, normal selection is going to be maple, oak, cherry, or walnut. And a huge benefit of this is that you can refinish the whole floor. If it starts to get stained or ugly or something, you can sand the whole thing just like a wood countertop. And you can reseal it, and boom, diada, you got your new floor back. So that's pretty cool. And wood is a pretty tough material, especially the hardwoods. So, while it's not going to stop a knife or something like that, it's going to generally stand up to more impact and abuse and stuff like that. So it's pretty good. But it does need to be sealed. It is wood, and because of that, it's never going to be as good at water resistance as some of the other materials that aren't bothered by water at all. And then there's the engineered hardwood. So this is a step between the laminate and the hardwood. And the basic difference is it's a plywood backer or not a full, not like it's an engineered wood backer of some kind. and they put a layer of real wood, real hardwood on top of it. So you still see hardwood, you still see a wood floor. It's real wood. You can refinish it, but usually only once because you don't want to sand that layer off too many times. Otherwise, you'll see the plywood stuff below it. But it's generally better for water resistance because it's the engineered woods can deal with water a little bit better than a normal wood. Sometimes, depending on what you got going on. In this case, usually it's better. But these are also easier to install because they are designed for different. An engineered hardwood floor is normally like it's shaped much more like a laminate tile or a vinyl plank installation, where they're these wider, thinner planks that you're putting down. It's not quite like a wood installation where you gotta butt all these thick pieces of wood together and nail them just right and kind of do a little more careful work there. So it's a little simpler to install, and it is less expensive than a full hardwood floor, so that is a benefit. Now, if you'd like to learn more / watch some flooring go down, then you ought to watch YouTube Spec House series, episodes 118, 119, 121, 126, 129, and 130 by The Essential Craftsman, and you should watch the YouTube video, All You Need to Know About Flooring Options by Home Renovation DIY. He covers the good bases there, and you can get a little bit more of a fleshing out. So that's it. You get your flooring down, you get those appliances in, and the inside of your house is effectively done, Button a few things up here and there. That I never mentioned garage doors, I think, in the beginning of this. So you're going to, of course, when you do exterior doors, you're going to want to make sure your garage door goes in, right, so that you close that off. But yeah, the inside of your house is done. We're going to have one more class on finishing up the landscaping outside. And once that's done, your project is over. The home build is complete, pending any like paperwork or certificate of occupancy stuff for inspections, right? But that's it. So I'll see you on the last class next time.